Well, good afternoon. It's Thursday, July 16th, and as the psalmist writes, I was glad when they said to me, "Let us go to the house of the Lord." This coming Sunday, we get to resume public worship here within this space at Shorehaven Lutheran Church. 10 o'clock this coming Sunday, worship resumes publicly. That's a joy. And we read in Luke's gospel that when Jesus began his ministry, he went to the synagogue as was his custom. It was his habit to regularly be in the assembly of the people of God. And so I encourage you, come to church, join us, and be a part of this assembly. Now, I know we are still under the pandemic of the coronavirus, and our church council and elders have put together some protocols and procedures just to help alleviate everybody's anxiety about coming together. So when you come to church, you're going to see a few things. First of all, you're going to see that, weather permitting, the front doors will be propped open. That way it'll minimize the amount of surface to touch to come to church. Secondly, you'll notice that all the pews will have the hymnals and the friendship pads removed, again, minimizing the amount of surfaces that people would touch from one person to the next. When you come to church, Cuyahoga County is under a mask ordinance right now. And so in all public places, we are required to wear masks. And while it's difficult to say who is actually doing the enforcing in each place, we are leaving it up to the individual conscience to wear that mask out of compassion for their neighbor. There is a lot of conflicting information out there about masks. But given that the government is not asking us to disobey God, and given that the government is not forbidding us to do what God commands, we are asking you, when you come to church, please wear your mask when you're entering and when you're exiting. And once you are seated, then if for health reasons you need to remove it, please go ahead and do so. You will notice many in our congregation will probably keep their masks on throughout the whole service, and that's fine. We just want to, again, alleviate as much anxiety about coming together as we can. That was the protocol for our church council to reach these decisions. When you enter, wearing your mask, you will also find hand sanitizer. Please use that as you need. And you will also find some pop-up wipes and some spray bottles. Like in the grocery store where you can receive a wipe to wipe down your cart, our trustees have secured a spray that is not harmful to our pews. And so spray a wipe, and if you desire, you can take it to where you're going to be seated and wipe down the back of the pew right ahead of you where your hands will usually go. As you come into church, we're just asking people to socially distance themselves. Leave a pew between you and the person directly behind you or directly ahead of you. Space yourself out around the sanctuary. Sit as a family group, but do maintain the social distance before and behind you, and also between your family group and the next family group within the same pew. Try to keep about 6 feet. As you come to church, you will also notice that everything is printed in the bulletin, and we are working to get everything printed on the screen. That includes all the music to the hymns. And given that we're under a face mask ordinance, we are going to be limiting the amount of singing we're doing for the next couple of services until that order is lifted. It's difficult to sing in a mask, but we do want to do some, and we want to keep this time as joyful as possible, and singing will help with that. Holy Communion will be celebrated every single Sunday between this Sunday and the end of September, with the exception of August 9th. We have been fasting from God's holy meal for a very long time, almost 4 months. And I didn't want anybody coming into church and see that they have to wait a whole nother week to receive the Lord's Supper. So every time we gather for worship, we will be celebrating the Lord's Supper. Come, be a part of that meal at the Lord's table. And I know many of you have been watching online, and I appreciate that. I think it's wonderful how the church has been forced during these months to embrace technology, to find ways to bring the Word of God into the people's homes, to help our members expose the message of the church by pointing them to videos that their church is doing. I am grateful for the way pastors around the country have been feeding their flock through different videos and different technology. That's a joy. Even though we're resuming public worship, our videos will continue. Now, usually over the last 4 months, our videos have been ready to go by 10 o'clock. But what we're going to be doing is we will record the 10 o'clock service here at church, and then we will edit it and post it by 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock Sunday afternoon. So if you're used to watching service at 10 a.m. from Shore Haven, those videos for the next couple of weeks will be at 1 o'clock or 2 p.m. in the afternoon in order to give us time to edit and upload the morning worship on Sunday. It is quite a joy. It's been a challenge at this time, but we are thankful that the Lord guides us and leads us in all things. Everything we're doing is out of compassion for our neighbor. Everything that we are doing is to truly try to live Jesus' command, love one another. If we can do that by wearing a mask, okay. If we can do that by coming together and just maintain a little bit of distance, that's okay. It helps other people know that they are being cared for. This coming Sunday, we resume worship. I pray you'll be a part of it. God bless you, my friends. I'll see you in church.